Hi Year 2, time for our maths lesson now. I would like you to write today's date and skill into your catch-up book. Today's date is Thursday, the 14th of January 2021, and our skill for today is to explore commutative law. I'd like you to pause the video, and then when you have finished writing your date and your skill into your catch-up book, I'd like you to unpause the video, ready to start our lesson. Okay. Poppy says that 10 times 2 equals 22. Is she correct? I want you to explain how you know. You might also like to draw an array to prove your answer, so prove whether she is correct or whether she is wrong. I'd like to pause the video. Off you go. Okay, Poppy is wrong because we know 2 times 10 equals 20. 2 lots of 10 is the same as 2 times 10 is the same as 2 lots of 10, or 10 add 10, which equals 20, not 22. We have a look at this array down the bottom then. You can see there are 20 dots, so 2 times 10, 2 groups of 10 equals 20. Well done if you got that right. Well done for your amazing maths yesterday. We were so impressed with all of your lovely arrays that you drew. Well done. You should give yourself a big pat on the back. Today we're going to continue drawing arrays to solve multiplication number sentences, but we are also going to look at commutative law. And we're going to explore what this term means. Okay, first of all then, what does this array tell us? How many rows are there? How many columns are there in this array? I'd like you to talk to the person next to you or explain to your grown-up at home, what does this array show you? Okay, when you've done that, what number sentence could you write for this array? Tell your partner, tell your grown-up at home, or write it in your catch-up book. Okay, the first number sentence we could have is we could have 10 times 2 equals 20. How else could we write this number sentence? Some of you might have already found the other way. Okay, let's have a look. We can swap the numbers around, which gives us 2 times 10 equals 20. This is because multiplication is commutative. Commutative means you can swap the numbers around and still get the same answer. In this example, we have 2 times 10 equals 20 and 10 times 2 equals 20, both of which have the same answer. Okay, let's have a look at these two arrays then. What is the same about these arrays and what is different? How many dots are there in each array in total? And how could we write the number sentences for these arrays? So have a look. You might need to pause the video so you can discuss that further. Okay, we can write 2 multiplication number sentences for these arrays. We have got 5 times 2 equals 10 and 2 times 5 equals 10. As you can see, if you've counted the dots in both arrays, you can see that the total for each array is 10, although they look slightly different. In the first one, you've got 5 groups of 2. In the second one, you've got 2 groups of 5, which means we've got the same answer, but 2 different number sentences. Remember, you can switch the numbers around and get the same answer when you're multiplying. When we think about our learning from term 2, and we looked at addition and subtraction last term, which of those operations was also commutative? So have a think, was addition that we could swap the numbers around and still get the same answer, or was it subtraction? You might also like, if you can't remember off the top of your head, you might like to investigate this. So swap the numbers around in an addition number sentence, and is the answer the same? Or swap them around for a subtraction number sentence to see if they are the same. Which one is commutative? Okay. Well done if you said addition was commutative. If we have 3 add 2 equals 5, we could also have 2 add 3 equals 5. Both numbers have been swapped around, but they give the same answer. If we did that for subtraction though, they would not give the same answer. Okay, Bridget has made an array out of her bouncy balls. She thinks her array shows 5 lots of 3 and 3 lots of 5. Is she right? So let's have a look at her array. She's got all her bouncy balls there. Does it show 5 lots of 3 and 3 lots of 5? Make sure you look carefully at the rows and the columns. Okay, pause the video if you need any longer. Okay, oh no, she's made a mistake. Her array does not show 3 times 5 or 5 times 3. It actually shows 5 times 5, and that equals 25, because there are 5 rows and 5 columns in Bridget's array. Thinking about commutative law then, which number sentences are represented by this array? So we've got our stars here, and is it A, 3 times 4, B, 3 times 3, C, 4 times 4, or D, 4 times 3? So have a look really carefully. are those options and that array, and which number sentences match that array. Okay, pause the video if you need any longer then. So if we have a look at A, 3 times 4 is the first one, so 3 times 4 matches that array, and D, 4 times 3 matches that array. If we have a look at B then, that is wrong because we have not got 3 groups of 3. And if we have a look at C, that is wrong because we have not got 4 groups of 4. We have 3 groups of 4 and 4 groups of 3. Okay, I'd now like you to find the answer to both of those number sentences. And remember, we find the answer by looking at our array and counting all of the dots, or the stars in this case, in total. So I'd like you to do that now, please. Okay, the answer is 12. Brilliant, well done if you got that right. Okay, let's try another then. Which number sentences are represented by this array? If we have a look then, this array is slightly bigger, so you might need to have a closer look. Is it A, 7 times 4, B, 7 times 5, C, 4 times 7, or D, 7 times 7? I'm going to give you a few seconds to have a look at this array now. Okay, pause the video if you need longer to figure out which options it is, whether it's A, B, C, or D. Okay, well done if you said A and C. This array shows 7 groups of 4, so 7 times 4, which is A, and 4 groups of 7, which is C, 4 times 7. It does not show 7 groups of 5, so B is wrong, and it does not show 7 groups of 7, so D is wrong. I now then want you to think, in your own words, how can you describe what commutative means, what that term means, before we move on to the next part of our lesson. So I'd like you to pause the video. What does commutative mean when we look at multiplication number sentences and arrays? Pause the video now and unpause when you're ready to carry on the lesson. Okay, now we've matched the array to the correct number sentence, I want you to have a look at the next activity, and we're going to have a go doing it the other way around. So, which array shows 6 lots of 4 and 4 lots of 6? We've got 3 options. We've got the tennis ball option, which is A, B, the basketball array, or C, the football array. You need to have a look really carefully at these options. Which one shows 6 lots of 4 and 4 lots of 6? Lots of information to take in here. Okay, pause the video if you need longer. The right answer is B, because we can see we have got 6 groups of 4 and 4 groups of 6. It is not A, because as you can see we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have got 7 groups of 4, not 6 groups of 4. And it is not C, because we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going down, and then we've got 3 in each group, so we've got 5 groups of 3. So it's not 6 lots of 4, so therefore A and C are wrong and B is the right answer. Well done if you chose B. Okay, now then it's time to test your knowledge of commutative law even further. I want you to match the arrays to the commutative calculations. So you have got the first set of calculations here, which match an array in the middle, and then you have got another set of calculations here that match the previous array and the previous number sentence that you've already matched. So I want you to have a look, and we're going to start with 6 times 3. 6 times 3 then, which array would that match? Point to the one you think it is. Okay, good, if you chose the middle one, you're right. And then the last number sentence, we've got 3 times 6, so 6 times 3 equals that array, and then we've got 3 times 6. Have a look at the second one then. We've got 2 lots of 4. Which array would that match? Point to the right array now, please. Okay, good if you chose the first one, that's right. And then which number sentence will it match on the other side? Okay, super if you chose that bottom one. Okay, then at the bottom we've got 5 times 1. And it's going to match the middle one. That's nice and easy. That's the last one there. And then on the other side it matches 1 times 5. Okay. You're now going to look at what the total for each of these number sentences, what the total is for each of these number sentences. Now, if at the first one we have 6 times 3, the total of that number sentence will also be the total of 3 times 6, because remember, when we swap the numbers around when we're multiplying, we get the same answer. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes To do that, you might need to pause the video to find the answers. Okay, 6 times 3 then, 3 lots of 6 is 18, 2 lots of 4 or 4 lots of 2 is 8, and 5 lots of 1 or 1 times 5 equals 5. Time for our guided practice now then. Your activity today for guided practice, you first of all need to write 5 times 4 into your catch-up book. Underneath your number sentence, you're going to draw the array for 5 times 4. Think about how many columns and rows you're going to need. And then once you've drawn that array, you are going to swap the numbers around to give you your other number sentence. So in this case, we'd have 5 times 4 at the top, our array, and then 4 times 5 underneath, and then you're going to draw the array for that number sentence. So let's have a look then at what I mean. We've got our waggle here, what a good one looks like. And I have done this for a different number sentence, so this is not for 5 times 4. This one we've got 5 times 3. I've got 5 times 3, my array underneath. I've counted the total amount of dots in that array to find my answer, which is 15. Underneath, I've written the other number sentence. I've got 3 times 5, because I've swapped those numbers around. I've drawn the other array, and I've counted again to double check my answer was right for the first one, and I've put the answer at the end, which is 15. And this is exactly what your guided practice should look like, but instead of 5 times 3, you're going to do 5 times 4, 5 lots of 4. Okay, pause the video and complete that activity now then, please. Okay, independent practice time now then. Your task. You are going to write both multiplication number sentences just as we've done in the guided practice, and you're going to draw both arrays for the given multiplication number sentences just as we've done for the guided practice, but this time we're going to do it more independently. Let's have a look then at your steps to success, and remember, you can always come back to this. If you get stuck on a step or you're not sure what to do next, you can refer back to this, and this will really help you work through today's task. So, first of all, you need to write the multiplication into your book. Second then, you need to look carefully at the numbers to see how many rows and columns you need to draw in your array, what your array will look like. You need to draw your array neatly using straight rows and columns underneath that number sentence. Count the dots in the array, so count how many dots there are in total, and write the answer at the end of your number sentence. It's really important you remember this step. Then, using your knowledge of commutative law, you're going to write the other multiplication number sentence by swapping the numbers around, and then underneath that number sentence you're going to draw your array. Okay. You're now going to have, so here are your questions, so you're going to choose your challenge, whether you're doing cool, mild, spicy or hot, and you need to pause this slide so that you can work through those questions for your chosen activity. Remember, you can refer to the what a good one looks like as well. So we've got 5 times 3 equals 15 and 3 times 5 equals 15 here, exactly like we did with our guided practice. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, you can also have a look at the waggle and also the steps to success on the previous slide if you're finding this a little bit tricky. So pause the video now and complete your independent practice, and unpause when you're ready to move on to our challenge. Okay, super. Your challenge then. The challenge today, I would like you to investigate the arrays that can be made using 12 counters. So you just have 12 counters. I want you to write the multiplication number sentence for each array you have made. So you're just going to have 12 counters. You might like to use the printed counters if you're at home. If you're in school, you can use actual counters, or you can draw the arrays using 12 in total so that your total of the array has 12. And then we're going to have a look at the answers. So pause and investigate this challenge, please. Okay, so let's have a look then. What number sentences did you get? Tick each one that you got right. We can have 1 times 12 equals 12. We could also have 2 times 6 equals 12. We could have 3 times 4 equals 12. 4 times 3 equals 12. 6 times 2 equals 12, and 12 times 1 equals 12. Really well done if you've got all of those number sentences. Okay, our plenary then, our final thought for today. You have learnt that multiplication is commutative. This means we can swap the numbers in the number sentence around and still get the same total. Knowing that then, how could we complete the calculation below for this array? So you can see here, I've got my array made of my stars, and I've got a calculation underneath. What numbers would I put where? I want you to have a really good look at this array and think, what number would I put in each box, and have a look really carefully at the symbols. We've got two multiplication symbols and an equal symbol. So that's really important, looking at that equal symbol and thinking all about commutative law that we thought about today. Pause the video. Okay, let's have a look then, see if you were right. We can have 3 times 10, and then we can also have, what would go in the next box? We could have 10 times 3. And the reason we have that equal symbol there is because, remember, we can swap those numbers around how we've done here. We've got 3 times 10 and 10 times 3, and both of them equals the same answer. So I'd like you to turn to your partner if you're in school. If you're at home, I'd like you to discuss this with your adult or write it in your catch-up book. What is the answer for 3 times 10 and 10 times 3? Your final activity, final question for today. Okay, well done. 3 lots of 10 is 30, and 10 lots of 3 equals 30. Well done. You've done really well today, Year 2. Bye.